Okay, so I found this cool little website where you can plug in your numbers and get a what's called a buzzer chart, which is like a Chinese astrology chart. And here's just the little basic list of the five Chinese elements, as we can see here. And I'm going to enter in just like a simple chart. But you've also got the zodiacal animals, and you've got the stems. So stems and branches, which is an interesting little thing. So we'll go to Chinese fortune calendar, and here, of course, if you're uncomfortable entering these kinds of details, because you do want to do it accurately, get the right time and the right, year, month, day, even hour. Gender doesn't matter. I don't think so, at least. So we're just going to do one for, here we go, 2020, and I'll forget about the city longitude for now. So we've generated a random birth chart, right? And firstly, we can see this is the year. Now everyone knows about, like, oh, I'm a year of the tiger, year of the dragon, or year of the snake or the rat or whatever. This is your year um, pillar, you can think. Well, this is your month pillar, as in, like, depending on the month you're born. So this is similar. The month pillar is essentially everyone's like the sun sign, right? The hour's a bit like the rising, and I guess the day would be more like the moon. And the year, I don't know what that would be related to in Western astrology. I'm not really sure. And you've got these two things. You've got the top one and the bottom one. Now the bottom one, I believe, is more the yin. It's more of an external. So the year stem is more related to, I believe, your it says ancestors, so like grandparents and society. While the month one is related to, they say, parents and I believe also workplace. The day one is related to, here, Black Rabbit would be related to husband or wife, I think. And then the hours, they say, is children, right? So Black Horse. And of course, I think depending on if it's a male or a female child will depend on if it's the male soil or brown horse. I think the feminine one is the bottom and the male one is the top, or something like that. But the U, so the most important one, which is called the Day Master, is here, female water for this person. So you can see there's five elements total. This is a pretty important thing here, right? It says water U. So depending on what your Day Master, if it's wood or if it's metal or something, it'll be here. And then the rest of these will be laid out in following. So these can be different elements depending on the chart. Now this person has an incredibly strong day master. You can see the total here, because they've got, black rabbit, black, and I think, what else? Pig, rat. No, is rat? I don't know. Is rat water or fire? Whatever. Pig's water, at least. So they've got so much support for water. So this person, they're a very yin person, but they've also got a lot of wood, which is more yang actually. But they lack fire and they lack metal. So this person's not very intelligent, but they'll probably make a very good mother or caretaker or supportive person, even maybe like I don't know if they'd make a good coach. I don't know, something like that, right? But they got lots of water, so they're probably, and that's their day masters. They're probably going to live a decent life. So if you have good balance with these, it says here, yeah, if you have balance and evenly distributed, you're the luckiest. But for most people, they're out of balance, and of course, you're pretty unlucky if you have a weak day master. That means you have a weak sense of self, personality, your core's kind of weak. It's a pretty unfortunate thing, to be completely honest. You're going to have to do a lot more work than other people. It's just kind of how it is. Then, of course, it says kids, money, job, and mum. So this is actually archetypally, this would be metal, I think. Job is more related to metal. Archetypally, this is water. So it says mum, but it's also your support. Like, this person probably doesn't have a lot of support, and specifically it's talking about metal. So I guess they never had much, they won't have much educational support probably. So this is like how much support you have, right? This is related to job, but it's also, metal stuff. Money this is archetypally earth. So this person has a low money score, so they're probably going to suffer financially. I'm not exactly sure what fire in the money is. I'm not, not enough of astrologer. Actually, this video is what we'll talk about in a minute, is more based on like how to develop these aspects within you, and then how to enhance, like maybe you think, okay, I want to get better at my job. Let's enhance the organ in the body which relates to that, or I need more support, or I need more. Everyone wants more money, right? Except the people who have more money. I mean, they want more money as well. And this one, I don't know what else it relates to beyond kids. It's probably something else, right? So sorry, I don't know all this stuff yet. So anyway, what you do is you get one of these charts made. You do it on like a private browsing window or browser or whatever if you don't want to let your details be known by the internet. And then you find what areas you're weak in, and you just relate these to the organs. So if we go back to here, I guess you could say it says the digestive system, circulatory, nervous system, excretory, and respiratory. That's something. Oh, here we go. Lungs. I think this was yeah, okay, never mind. Lungs. So metal is lungs and large intestines. Water is kidneys and bladder. Wood is liver and gallbladder. Fire is heart and small intestines. And earth is the spleen and the stomach. So if you suffer with like financially, you can focus on the stomach and spleen, which is pretty much just your left kind of central upper area. If but then also you do want to focus on, for example, this person's money was their fire, so I guess they used their charisma and energy to get money, or that's like related to, I don't know. So they use their heart and their guts, I guess, to get money into. So this person also wants to focus on that, the hearts and the gut, and you just focus and you meditate on these organs, right? Or you can do it in an external way, which is wearing the colors. Metal is white or gold, water is black or like dark blue, just dark colors in general. Wood is green, natural colors. Fire is red, and earth is actually yellow and brown. You can eat things related to them, like water is salt, earth is sweet or sugar, fire is bitter, wood is sour, metal is spicy. Interesting. You've got different things you can do, right, to invoke these energies. Because if you invoke the energy, you stimulate the organ. It's just like a magic ritual, right? A magic ritual, you're invoking energies, and the energies relate to other things which start to get the gears moving of life, I guess. They also have different times and seasons, so and different countries kind of relate to different elements, right? Different animals relate to these, as I said, colors, foods. You've got different grains, and here we've got like nuts and dates, almonds, fruits, whatever, different meats. Like water and earth is very much like pig or pork meat, I guess you would say. Well, I guess sea creatures as well, because they're very salty. There's also very watery. Earth would be pork, definitely, because you can see Saturn, Mars, Jupiter, Mercury, Venus. So we can tell wood is the planet of expansion. Okay, so wood is like kind of the if you have a lot of wood and fire, you're very much like a generic alpha male. And it also depends because you could have the feminine wood or you could have the feminine fire because there's a yin and yang of these, right? But if you have the yang or the positive wood and fire, you're very alpha. If you have more like metal and water, it makes you more like feminine, right? Metal is actually intelligent. I know it's got Venus. Mercury is more like wisdom, I guess. But metal and water people, like if you have a lot of metal and water, it can be very intelligent. Men who have that are very intelligent. Women who have that are, it makes them more feminine, I guess. Earth is somewhat feminine, even though it's kind of in the middle. It gives you more of like the solid build. It says muscles. Interesting. Sometimes metal is related to the muscles, but I guess skin here. Depending on your elemental disposition, which is the organ dominance and such, will be what your body is. So you can see what you are just by looking at your body. Water people are, of course, going to be fat. Earth people are very muscular and solid. Fire people are like thin-ish and smallish. They're very athletic. They're like a soccer player, football player. Someone who's kind of like an alpha male type, a sporty kind of guy, right? A young sporty guy. Wood is people who are like lanky, so they look like trees, right? Like thin and tall, very like I guess nervous system, almost bone dominant people, kind of looking like that. And metal is more how do I say what do they say? They say they're more squarish, more metal. Also, it can be muscular. They've got a lot of like focus around the upper body, and so it's like I think it's like do they have broad shoulders? I'm not sure. Metal is definitely your intent. Like I'm actually I'm metal dominant. That's my strongest element, right? It's not my day master, but it's definitely metal is my strongest element because it's very metal almost seems like Mercury to me because it's very Virgo-esque. It's like details oriented, very perceptive, very like it's intelligent. People who are kind of almost a little eccentric, but not in like a super energetic way. That'd be fire, right? Even though it's Venus, I guess Venus would be like art relies on aesthetic. It relies on vision and the ability to balance and harmonize and be very details orientated, you can think. So there's something to think, yeah. And then Earth, is like the rich people, very centered people. Chinese, they like Earth and fire because that'd be like energetic, kings. King is always red and gold, right? Which is Earth and fire. That's black is like the evil, right? It's the dark side. It's that which is water. So and then you can have the idea of black and red, very clashing colors is like fire and water. The idea of like white is purity, refinement, right? And green is like nature and I'd like to say balance, but actually earth is center, earth is balance. Yeah, wood is very much wood is like explorers, adventurers, as people who kind of go who maybe actually wood is like CEO or entrepreneur energy, like leader energy. As I said, if you have a lot of yang wood, that's like very alpha male, like a lot of yang wood and fire, because you're very almost like self-serving and dominant and all that kind of stuff. And of course, the negatives is anger for wood, and the negatives fire is like anxiety. Earth is worry. Water is fear. Here we go, fear, and metal is depression or sadness. They say happy, but it's more. I think it's more like anxiety is what I would say, like excess like burning out all your water, which makes you anxious. So as I said, the real point of this whole thing, you can basically just focus on your organs or like work more with these energies to bring them into your life. And depending on, again, your chart here, again, this person wants more support, they need to focus on their lungs, their large intestine to bring more metal energy in. They want more money, they got to focus on their fire, their heart and guts, right? And of course, because they have a super strong water, uh, daymaster, that's just gonna like all that water energy is just gonna go into everything else, and it's like imagine you've got a field of crops, you just have so like super strong, really good water full of lots of fertilizer and nutrients and all that. It's just gonna make your field grow like crazy, right? So yeah, anyway, have a good day and goodbye. Check the link in the description if you want to.